in and of itself is an art and technique and strategy. And so he told me, just watch YouTube videos and you can learn it. And there's so many nuances to posing, like how to pull your lats out, how to hit certain things. You cannot watch YouTube videos and figure that out. So he told me that. So I didn't have a posing coach. I just had him. And he got me really lean, but I also lost a lot of muscle. So I loved the absolute experience of it. I learned so much. I met some amazing ladies. It just affirmed my love for the sport, but I also came in 14th out of 14. I came in very last. And the feeling on stage, honestly, oh, this was the other thing. I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know, and I hate not being prepared, right? Like something like you're going on stage. I didn't know that you go out and do like a 10-second posing routine to like show off your physique. So they're like, oh, when you go out to the box, do your 10-second posing routine. So I had to whip something together. I had no idea what I was doing. And I just tried to fumble along and did it. But what I would say, so when they did everything here in Texas, cheerleading is big. High school football is big. And every girl wanted to be a cheerleader growing up. So when you did cheerleading tryouts and you didn't make it, it was a huge disappointment. I kind of felt like that in that first show. Like I felt like I was the one that didn't make the cheerleading squad. So I had this but I didn't show it like on my face. I hid it, but that's how I felt. But I told myself, if I ever do another show, I'm going to do it right. No hold bar. Like I'm going to get a posing coach. I'm going to have the right competition coach, everything. Because he also didn't tell me, he didn't give me a reverse diet after the show. He didn't give me any direction whatsoever. So I made the mistake of having been in this deficit and cutting out carbs and doing all this stuff and getting really, really lean. And then after the show, I just went back to eating whatever and immediately had like a rebound really bad. So I just learned a lot about myself in that. It was a great learning experience. And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, I think everybody who gets in sport don't understand all the nuances. It's not as simple as just like, hey, go on YouTube, you can find some videos and they tell you something. Nah, I think like I went to school one time online school. I think it's just you really want someone there that can really point out certain things you need to look at. And and a lot of coaches are now doing online because you got so many clients. Like you might have clients in this part of the world and this part of the country, and you can't get to them, every single day. But it works, especially if they understand and the nuances of everything. I've talked to one young lady said she can't do it because she feels like she has to get hands instruction. But like I said again, everybody is different when it comes to training and teaching.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I can handle my coach now. Actually, the last several coaches I've had have been all online, and I'm good with that because I know how to train. So they give me the training program. I'm going to go in and execute it. They see my pictures and they can tell me what to do with my nutrition and all of that. And then at the shows, they're there most of the time in person, and then they can make the tweaks that they need to make then and see you in person, which I'm totally great with. So, but posing I do in person and online. Like I go in posing seminars and then in person. And then I also get the posing coaching online.
So who are you working with, both your posing coach and your training coach?
My training coach, my competition coach is Justin Jacoby. Yes, he's my coach right now. Used to be Dee Jackson with Fit Nation. And she coached me for the first 2 years. And she brought me in better than I've ever been. And she also brought me on board as an assistant coach with her. So then I started coaching some clients with her. And last year, she just felt like it was time for me to go on to a different coach. She initiated it, and I'm grateful for it. So having seen some of Justin's clients and have friends that he's trained and I've just watched their transformation, I reached out to him and we had a great conversation, and then I've been with him ever since. And we've had amazing results so far. So I'm excited to go to my first show with him and then see how I do at nationals under his guidance. And then as far as posing, I have had, so I started with Sheila Brown, and I still go to Sheila. As a matter of fact, I've done figure. This year I'm doing figure and physique. So I went to Sheila to get her to teach me how to do the physique poses initially. And then I've also used Christina with KJ Center Stage.
Christina Mendoza, if people want to know who that is specifically.
Yes, she's amazing too. She's awesome. I've used Jessica Rhea Padilla, and I've learned from Laura Hanna, and I've learned from Coach Lalo with Armor Training. And then most recently, I mean, I've gone just now today and a few weeks ago, Rhea Gale does a posing seminar. So I've attended those. So I have gathered, each person has brought something to that for me. Like I have learned something from every single one of them. So it's been amazing.
You know, with Rhea, she's the current Miss Olympia. Jessica Rhea Padilla has been a top competitor this year. We hadn't seen her too active this year, but I guess she's just now focused on Olympia. Mm-hmm. You know, Christine Mendoza, you know, she's a pretty good poster. Even recently, I worked with her. We all know Christina's now moving over to wellness. I've seen some stuff. She looks really good. I mean, part of my heart was kind of disappointed when she said she's going to move down to wellness, but I think it works for her because, you know, she always had those big quads aesthetics for that division. Maybe if she went maybe a few years earlier, it might have made a big difference, but she's sticking with bodybuilding. We appreciate that. Sheila Brown, that's a legend. She competed for quite so many years, you know, and Justin Jacoby. I mean, that guy he had just a few clients, just won their pro cards at nationals last year. I mean, you know, a couple of ladies I've interviewed, and also recently, I think a lady she also coached, her name is Lindsay Contreras.
Yes.
Lindsay. And I think that's how I get connected to you because of Lindsay, you know, because she just won her regional in Galveston, and now she's going to be doing the USA's next weekend.
Yes. Yep. I'm friends with Lindsay and Michelle McNamee.
Yeah, Michelle. Wow. I'm not a big fan of tattoos, but that back.
I have not seen a wider back. I mean, her back is beautiful.
I studied a little massage therapy a few years ago. She ever needs a therapist? I mean, you know,
I'll let her know.
Okay, thank you. You know, I'll be professional, Michelle, for a minute or two. You know, I'm sorry, I gotta go. But yeah, you stacked up a good amount of people and doing physique. I mean, that's a big move. I mean, especially where the divisions are looking. We just wrapped up the women's physique part of the Masters Nationals in Pittsburgh. And a couple of ladies I've interviewed who've done that show, and they did fairly well. They didn't be a pro card. One thing about, especially when it comes down to how the divisions are starting to meld a bit, where it's so easy for figure competitors to cross over to physique, even physique competitors cross over to women's bodybuilding. I've even interviewed a couple of young ladies who did both wellness and figure.
That to me, that's a little bit trickier just because of the posing. I feel like, I mean, that's two different. Although, actually, I have a online friend. She just competed in both figure and women's wellness. And she did very well in both. And then she went to a national show, and I think she did better in figure, if I'm not mistaken, at the national show. But I think, like Justin suggested, that I try both this year, that I do physique and figure, and then see what the judges say. I know how I feel. I know what feels more natural, actually, now. But I'll be curious to see what their feedback is.
So you prefer wearing the high heels, or
No, actually, I do not like wearing heels. I don't walk in heels at all. I've had to learn that, and figure is so classy and elegant. It's just, and it's been around since the beginning. It's just beautiful, and I love figure. Physique, though, feels more natural to me, to be honest, and I'm down for barefoot any day. Like, no heels, I'm for it.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a ladies who do figure, and they tell me they love the fact that it makes them feel more girly because this is it's, I think next to it's more of it has a feminine aesthetic, but also has a good amount of muscle
Hmm.
compared to if you want to do bikini or wellness
Hmm.
or even excuse me again fit model. You know, I mean, I have nothing against the
How you really
competitors.
feel.
Huh?
Tell me how
What?
you really feel.
I tell you this. Again, a lot of these, maybe these divisions either spun off for another. If you look at women's bodybuilding, it's the architect for pretty much of the women's division, except for bikini and wellness. Those were brought in.
Hmm.
Fitness spun off from women's bodybuilding. Figure spun off from fitness, and technically, you might well say physique spun off from women's bodybuilding.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
The other two were brought in because wellness was very popular in Brazil. The IBC liked it, he brought it in. Bikini was popular back in the day when you had the little bikini contest. They brought it in.
Hmm.
And then Wellness produced their bastard. I mean, bikini produced their bastard. That's what it is. It's a bastard division. It's not Jon Snow, but, it's, if you look at it, some of these girls, a lady I interviewed, I've seen a link later. A lady I interviewed a while back, she's a bikini pro, and she's also a doctor. She serves the military, we think for service. And she's working with a woman who's a client and a friend. They're both of West Indian descent. She's fit model. The other one's bikini. And if
Mm.
you look at them, you would say one's maybe figure and the other maybe, or maybe close to wellness. And the other look like she's actually bikini. And after a while, that division is going to evolve, especially when you're at the B level. It's
Mm.
good for maybe as a novice level, a startup level for somebody who's getting into the sport. But once it starts growing, developing, those girls will like you right now. You have women from the bikini open level want to come down to fit model. This is what happened to physique when pushing a lot of the women out from bodybuilding. They were going down, and then it started to change.
Mm.
And then the game would go back to the judges. The judges don't sit and say, you know what, you don't belong here. Like you saw recently, Sarah Bradley made the announcement to move up. And that's good because she's young, she's still growing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just that when you create this division, after a while, it's going to start melting, look like the next division. It should be just lightweight bikini.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That would that makes sense.
Yeah, but again, it's about the money, getting attention, and whatever else. But hey, I'm just a poor broke smo. Okay, we have here some comments here. Shall we put my old man glasses on? My man, Black Panther coming through here. He says this. He um, says hi, George. This is Black Panther, aka Ted Elick. Also, this is for you. Says Miss Johosky, where are you originally from?
Texas, Dallas Fort Worth area, Texas.
Six. Yeehaw! We ever saw the
Born and
movie.
bred.
You ever saw the movie Full Metal Jackets? Texas at home, but steers and queers.
Yes, I've seen that movie.
It's a classic, the,
It
the
is.
Joker. Hi, you Joker. So, but yeah, watching sport evolve over time and seeing how, especially for a woman,
Mhm.
what do you see that makes you think we get you? Well, we inspires you as a competitor, or anybody you think in the sport that really inspires you to, really further your stance or your position as a bodybuilder.
Goodness. So I love sports in general, and I love seeing people, athletes, really maximize their potential and push and push and push and see just how far they go. And so in this sport, I love seeing the continual transformation and development. Like we talked about Michelle and Lindsay, like I've watched them from when they first started. And so they inspire me. Seeing Jessica and Rhea and Coach D and all these people when they started and where they are today, and just continuing to progress and develop. And then they use their success and notoriety as a platform to really pour back into the sport, but also to pour into other people. And so I love, and then whenever I've posted things, I've had women reach out and say, wow, that's really encouraging. You inspire me. So that it's a continual evolution of maximizing my potential, seeing where the human body can actually go, because I geek out on that. Like, I'm a nerd when it comes to that. I love it. And I keep seeing how my body's changing, and it fascinates me. But then also being able to pour into and encourage other women and say, look, you can thrive and you can be the best version of yourself. Now, they might not want to compete like me, and that's fine, but they can still be the healthiest, best version of themselves and not be afraid to have muscles. And I told my husband that I want to be a princess with muscles. That's what I
Yeah,
want to be.
I think this is me, my personally, and like I said, I'm from the South, and the idea of women muscle, if you every person, it's the fits. It's like you're not feminine enough. You got muscles. You get like it's this is how it is. This I think every woman's beautiful, and everybody has their own look and their own
Mhm.
presentation, if I can say it like that, you
Yes.
know, and it's just if you're not comfortable with it, here's the best advice: don't say nothing, move on. There's other people out there. I mean, I've have conversation with lady. We talk about this, how guys will, like a lady I interviewed. Her name is Crystal. She also competed at Galveston. She came back. We were coming back from Galveston. She lives in Vegas, and she talked about how some guy approached her about, I didn't want, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? If you don't like it, you don't have to say anything. I
Right.
don't know, I mean, I'm like this. So I went to Tampa to help a friend of mine. Her name is Eunice. I always want to give Eunice a shout out. Anytime I'm here, her and the company, Bad Rap. They're also in Texas. He's right there in Crockett.
Okay.
And this is the company, Bad Rap. The terminology is big and defined, ripped and pumped. We like the rip part. And Eunice is a great lady. And I got to meet her and her and her husband, Mr. Willie, shout to him. And meet some other ladies when I went to Tampa. I remember my first barber show I went to was Savannah. And I got to meet some ladies I interviewed and talked and have conversations and, and just, generally there's some good women in the sport, good people in general, men and women. But again, people are always going to look at bodybuilding like this. It's a swing sport. It's a fetish sport. It's a fringe sport because these people with big muscles and they take special pills and they get huge. They be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, not the tumor. But again, this sport is about consistency and discipline. It's not
Mhm.
about what you take and what you pump up.
Mm-mm. Nope. And actually, that consistency and discipline that takes for this sport, it infiltrates every other area of your life. It's just a process of becoming, and you continue to become, and it really does. And you know what I've noticed, when you have people walk into a room that you see can take care of themselves, um, that commands a level of respect. Like, you're like, oh, that person, they they got their stuff together, they take care of themselves. And so it's just, I just love it. Like, I don't know any other way to live.
Well, you got to live for yourself, not for anybody else. We have the comments again from my man Black Panther. He's sticking in here. He says, give me a second. There he goes. In a minute. No way, sometimes I see slow. He says, women's bodybuilding and women's physique are the greatest. Thank you, brother. Also, he
Thank you.
says this, um, he says, Mrs. Johosky, you have a beautiful smile. You are the greatest. Also, he says this. He says, Texas, USA has the greatest bodybuilding community. He dropped some names here.
Mhm.
Ashley Lynette Jones, Tawanda Smith, DeSanka Dawson, the greatest female bodybuilders in Texas, women's bodybuilding in the greatest. Yeah, because this is a true story. When I went to Tampa, it was a highlight for me when I went to Tampa back in 2025.
Mhm.
And I got to meet Ashley in person. And
Mhm.
Ashley started out in figure,
Yes.
switched to physique, and
Yes.
then moved up to women's bodybuilding. She's number 2 in the world. She gave me a shout out right after she got her number 2 spot at the Olympia. I got to meet Sharonica Hitton. She's also a pretty good poser.
Mhm.
Wonderful lady. She being a top 3 competitor, most time Olympian. Hope she can make it this year because it's very tight. The competition is getting really hard. You saw what Brooke Walker did with Paula Hansen. With Paula,
Yes.
also I got to meet her. Paula Ranta, And you can't believe it. This when she was competing that year in Tampa, she was just 25 years old. She was still a baby. I
Mm,
mean, I mean, this is what's her. That's a year ago, and she
yeah.
has really evolved. But also, a big thing for me was when I got to help my friend Eunice and her partner Jolene in the Bad Rap booth, and I got to meet this gentleman in the middle of us, Mr. David Lee Roth.
Oh,
My
wow.
country behind would never have met this man if I didn't go down there to help my friend and my sister Eunice. And she's a great lady. She's prepping for a show, so we hope to get to see her activity. So, is there somebody particularly that you really admire and respect as a competitor in sport?
Oh my gosh. There's a lot. Uh, Obviously, Jessica Reyes Padilla, Ria Gale, Ashley Jones is amazing. I've talked to her, seen her several times. All of these ladies have beautiful souls, beautiful hearts. Um, Absolutely admire Coach D Jackson. She's done amazing. Uh, Danielle Rose. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, she just competed at Chicago. A friend of mine did interview with her when she was at Altima.
Yeah, so she inspires me. Love following her. And then, of course, Michelle and Lindsay, who are just climbing the ranks. Like Michelle came in fourth last year um, on her second pro competition. And she's going to do, I think, Tampa or here
Yeah,
coming
Tampa.
up. Yeah. So we'll see how she does there. But yeah, they all continue to inspire me.
Yeah. All right, Tampa is a big show. I wish I was going, but I'm already planning to go to another show. I've been to Florida a couple of times. I say, you know what, I want to go up north, so I'm going to show up north. I've never been. The farthest I've been up north was Virginia. That was me and my sister and my niece and nephews went on a little family trip. But the
Mm.
one person for me, when I got into this, and really, there's so many women. I can name them all, but the one that really sticks out for me, and I think she's so beautiful. I love her. She's my girlfriend, and that is
Oh, gosh, she's
Andrea
gorgeous.
Shaw. Oh,
Yes.
she
She's
just,
beautiful too.
when she came to the game after, this is from my favorite quote in the movie Batman Begins, after the IB quietly walked behind Wayne's bodybuilding, stabbing the heart, when they pushed it out of the Olympia, when Arnold took it out of his shows, when promoters started dropping it, she came along. And
Hmm.
she brought a level of muscle and femininity and just hard work and just amazing. Especially she could step back for a little bit, came back like yourself, and then boom, she did women's physique for a minute, then did women's bodybuilding, then become now she's on her way for a seventh Miss Olympia title. I want to share this with you, and I always share this one time because to quote my other guy, when you get something, Kara, never do it for free. And to me, I don't do nothing for free. And this is a payment. I call this my payment. My friend Eunice, she was at Atlanta back in 2023 when they had the Olympia that year. And she ran into Andrea. She got me this issue of muscle development. I know I need to keep this in a glass or something. I know, because they don't do hard copies anymore in these magazines, you
Hmm.
know. And what makes it so special? Some people might say it, but she took the time and she signed this for me.
Aw.
And I mean, this is just for me. This is, I saw her guest pose in Savannah back in 2022, but I would love to meet her. I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I do get to meet her. I might act a fool. I'm like, be patient, be calm, be.
Breathe. Just breathe.
Oh, thank you. So, so like I said, with your family, you mentioned your husband. How long y'all been together, and also social stuff. He also do a little bodybuilding himself too.
Yes, he did. So he and I met in 2018, and we've been married. We got married in 2018, and yeah, so we've been married to be 8 years this year. Um, Never really knew soulmate until I met him. He is my absolute soulmate and swellmate. We both have the bodybuilding lifestyle. He had always wanted to do a competition, and I wasn't at that time wanting to compete. And so I was like, yes, absolutely, you should do it. So he did it in 2022. And then, of course, when I was at his competition, I'm like, okay, I want to compete again. And that's when I met Dee, because she sat right behind me and we started talking. And then at the end of his show, I was like, hey, babe, come out and meet our new coach. So then I started competing. He loved it, but he was like, okay, I'm good. Like he got one under his belt and was like, I'm good. And he's just totally been super supportive and encouraging, and he's been my rock. He's the one that helps me be successful. So
That's good because I've known some women who got this sport later into their life, and they were married before, and then because the stream of the sport, and as men, we want y'all women to stay the same. We don't want women to change. We want you to stay the same, but women, you have to change like everybody else. And sometimes the relationship didn't work out. But I have known some men who support their wives when they get into it because they love them. This is something, it's a passion sport for a lot of competitors. And if you want to follow a passion, you got to support the person you love. It can be tough to be, even if you're a couple who do bodybuilding together. It can be tough. I met a couple who was in Savannah, and they just had an anniversary, been together for 3 years, and they were a couple that is a soul couple like yourself. She got a pro card in North Americans, and he was already a pro at the time. He competed at the Masters World Championships, and it's good to have that, especially when this sport can be so much of a drain mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. I keep pointing this up. The financial part is the big part. The guys have their expenses. Yes, they have their expenses, but we all know the big expense for women is going to be show day because you have to do your hair. The guys do have to put on tan, but this guy put on a pair of banana hammers and boy shorts, slap on some, a little gel or shave the head bald. They're good. But your ladies have to bring presentation, the suits that's going to cost you a good chunk of change. And also doing the travel, the expenses. And being an amateur, you have to pay, you might do maybe, okay, I'll do this class here. I might do this division here and just spread my shots and opportunities out.
Right. Absolutely. It's very expensive. I tell people all the time, it's a very expensive sport. And there's very little financial return on your investment. There's other return on your investment. So
yeah, that's the thing is, I wish it was like like I talked about this on my channel, where it's the IVB level that is the professional level, but most professional sports you can make a living off of. You can like most time you get more money from endorsements than you do with actually getting paid. But again, bodybuilding is seen closer to a hobby than a sport, but it's been around for a long time. A lot of celebrities like Michigan Arnold, guys like Corey, who also played an acting career. Sean Connery, the late Sean Connery, even was a bodybuilder. I found out when he passed away. Everybody can, should be able to try to make a living, because you got to think about it. You got to pay us entry fee if you do masters. You got to pay your registration fee every year to keep your membership up. I mean, what are you getting out of it back? I mean, most companies, especially IB and BC, are big companies. You take care of your athletes, your investment.
Yes, they do, but not at this level. I mean, I'm all for endorsements or sponsors. I'm still waiting for those to come. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to be smart and strategic with, and pay for things as they go. Of course, once you have your shoes and your suit, I don't get a new suit every year. I did get one this year, but yeah, and jewelry and hair and makeup. We just know that's the cost of it. So
yeah, so many expenses. We have a comment. Shout out to my man, Black Panther again. He says, give me a second. He says, Miss Johosky, you have a beautiful smile and incredible hard ripped physique of art. Keep up the great work. Also, he says, George, congratulations on your great success on YouTube. Stay strong and God bless. Yes, as earlier this week, my channel hit 6,000 subscribers, and
awesome.
I'm going to do a live on my Muscle Talk Monday. It's a thing I do every Monday when we talk about things in bodybuilding, and I'm going to talk about what show I'm going to go to. I'm going to 2 shows, actually 3. Two of them are going to be in, as I said, up north, and another one's going to be around here in the south. So I will make my announcement officially where I'm going. I've already set my reservation for one. The other one, I got enough time because it's a little close to home for me. So it's, if I get set right, see how my funds are done after the next trip. If there's enough left over, I am taking that one, because most definitely it's just going to be, especially in my own backyard in North Carolina. So, folks, we want to do here what we have. the lovely Miss Johosky here on the channel. We're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her and support her return to bodybuilding, reach out and genuine interests, show support. Guys, I Karyn, I have to do this because there's guys out there that are kind of they're me in a way, but not like me. I have gained control over my muscle passivity, but still, this guys can be a little straight. Like you're a nice lady. You see the pictures, they get like, hey, she's a buff chick. Let me send her something. Click, click. No, you sick freak. Stop it. Get some help. Come on. You get more with sugar than you do with vinegar, but some of you guys, you don't care. We shout out to my man before we go in. So my man KL, the one that says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, brother. So appreciate you. So we're going to jump in on social media for a bit. You all follow her, support her, appreciate it. If you're a weird guy, we don't want you. Go someplace else. Here she is. And you last competed at the North Americans. And what was that experience like? Were you doing one or two classes at that show?
So that one I did Masters 45 plus, and that's that class that you're showing where I got second. That one is Masters. That might have been 35 plus, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I did 45, 40, and 35, and I did the open. And so this one, I came in fourth at 35 plus.
And the young lady you said about you, that's Sheena Williamson. I interviewed Sheena just a while back. Hope she just make her return to competition.
Yes.
And this is her. Wow. I mean, look at that. What was the critique after the show? What do you feel like they needed to work on?
When I talked to Sandy backstage, she said all I needed to be was a tad tighter in the back. And so when you looked at the comparisons between myself and the girl that got the pro card, the first place, that was my first ever time at nationals. And what's interesting about this one, my hair and makeup were running late, and they were like, oh no, you'll make it. No, you'll make it. I had to run across the venue, throw my button on, throw my shoes on, throw my jewelry on. They were already in line. I did not get to get glued or glazed or pumped up. And I just went on and did that routine, super like rattled and shaky.
Yeah. Who's these lovely children here?
Those are my children. So the oldest one is the curly dark hair girl. That's Madison.
Uh-huh.
Camden's my son, next oldest, and then Ariel on the far left, and then Logan on the far right.
Logan, the baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's your baby. Baby. And there's your man there, the family. What do kids think about their mom being this big, plump, muscular women?
They love it. They have always admired it, said their friends are like, oh, your mom could beat us up. Like they're intimidated by it, but they like it. My oldest, a lot of them work out, but my two oldest do.
Yeah. And here they are. They look like they matured a little bit better, a little age on them. And here you're kissing your man. That's your man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what's your man's name? I forgot to catch his name.
His name is Tim.
Tim. Oh yeah. Who's this lady right here?
That's my mom.
I'm gonna say this old country term. You're just as pretty as your mama.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. And it's good that to have the support of your kids, your mother, your friends. Then that's your daughter right there. She's a Jareen.
Yes, she was, once a Marine, always a Marine. She's not active anymore, but yes.
Well, I would say to anybody, I had my oldest niece and my youngest nephew, they served in the Army. Anybody who served our country, I'll say thank you. I say, as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice you made on behalf of us citizens in this country, And you have a business and a career. You do this also. You do nutrition and wellness constellation. That's pretty good. Price is really reasonable. And how long you been doing that?
So I've been coaching now for just wellness, like coaching fitness, nutrition and wellness. I don't coach competitors. Couple of years now.
Mm-hmm. And what was your main career before that? Everybody has a job before he started.
Well, actually, that's just my side thing. I do that on the side. I'm a nurse, registered nurse, and I've been a nurse for 23 years.
Well, to all you nurses, because like I said, I took care of my mom for a long time. I was a caregiver, and I say to you nurses, I appreciate the sacrifices you made. Not so much the sacrifices. I appreciate I thank you for your service because you are providing service for us people. Because I've been in the hospital. I tell you something about myself. About 12 years ago, I had my first heart attack. I was 39 years old, just a few months from my 40th birthday, and after that, I had to get a pacemaker. And
Mm.
it's been doing pretty good. At one point, I was almost 500 pounds because I was taking my mom for a long time. And if you know anybody who's taking care of a sick family member, it can be a stress.
Mm-hmm.
And then after she passed, it was time for me to take care of myself. I was already doing this content. This is your friend you're talking about, the one that's
Ashley, oh, she's a friend of mine. She
uh,
does. She also competes. She's very sweet.
is she competing this year or is she taking a break?
I don't know, honestly. I haven't talked to her in a minute. I'll have to reach out and see what she's up to.
Yeah, it's good to reach out, make connections with, especially where I talk to ladies that you make good connections in the sport because
Mm-hmm.
people that share your same passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes it can be hit and miss. Sometimes you have some people have issues. With recently is currently is one lady who's living in your home state, Sarah Vegas, who was the former Miss Olympia champion,
Yes, Sarah
and where
Vegas.
her little feud with the Tag Huejo. But then there's
Mm-hmm.
some people that they love, like Andrea said this, she loves competition and she
Mm-hmm.
she roots for her competitors. Even though she's gonna go in there and win the show, she still roots. But this is how you evolve. This is what you're here, and this is what you back in. This was like your last competition before you took a break.
Yes, that was Masters USA in November 2024.
And the other one is from here.
That one is from June of 2010.
Yeah. It's evolution because back then I think the women in the figure had the one pieces, and the
Mm-hmm.
look has changed over time. And,
Mm-hmm.
and here she is, give some instructions. We have her. Wait a second.
So concerned. I'm like, where are you? Where are you? It's like diet face and everything. I'm like, you're not getting shorter, but
Not getting taller.
But I just stopped in mid conversation. I'm just like, where's she at?
Like that disappear.
And what? I know, almost. Oh my goodness, Nationals is taking you away. Well, it's how we get pro cards, though, right? We gotta do it.
Gotta do whatever we gotta do. Get paper thin.
I'm so concerned.
Get paper thin, or someone would say like just razor thin because it takes a lot to do
Mm-hmm.
what y'all ladies do. To train, to compete, to stay steady, and also to maintain a job, to take care of a family, to work out. Do you feel like you can? What like for you? What's your day like? How like when you get up in the morning? What it's like for you?
I get up at 4 a.m. and get ready to go to the gym. I go to the gym. I'm at the gym typically 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and I come home and work and eat my meals throughout the day, and then make sure that I'm in bed by 8:30 and get my sleep. So my day is just executing all the variables to the best of my ability.
Yeah. Going to bed 8:30. I used to remember as a kid, that was a time when, especially on Mondays, MASH would come on and you hear the da na na da na na na. You had to go to bed. You go to bed like these little kids. Yeah. And that's important because you need that rest and recovery. It does take
Mhm.
time to build a body because it's not as easy as a lot of people think. It goes back to my conversation with quite a few bodybuilders, and tell me, said, George, if people don't do the same, you don't have to do the same thing I do, but you don't have a regimen or a plan. If you
Mhm.
don't stick to it, if they just do any old thing and just pop some kind of supplement, something like that, but don't follow those guidelines, don't follow that regimen, they're not going to look like what they think you're going to look like. You're going to look like melted ice cream.
Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm. We have the comment shot to my man here. Uh, my man here says, for you, what is like posing in those high heels doing figure carrying?
Oh, you know, I've got heels from the Shoe Fairy, and so what people don't know is that I've had lots of surgeries, like back surgery, knee surgery, foot surgery. So I have a plate and unscrews and a pin in my left ankle because I was hit by a drunk driver and it shattered my calcaneus, ripped my malleolus and tendon, and had a tib fib fracture. That was in 2012. So I don't wear heels ever, but the Shoe Fairy makes an amazing heel that doesn't feel like a heel. And I'm able to actually walk in it and wear it. So posing in heels is, it takes practice and getting used to. It does make you feel sexy and feminine. Like when you're walking in them, you just feel pretty. But then when you're depleted and you're on stage and the lights and everything, and you're like trying to hit these poses hard, you're just trying not to shake. So there's a balance to it. So that it takes skill. It takes a level of skill to walk pretty in them and then pose in them. But they do help, at least with the figure poses. I feel like they help the way that you can hit your quads and bring out your hamstrings and your glutes. I think the heels help.
It's about the presentation. Right? We had a lady on. Her name is Christine Sutton. She just turned pro a while back, and she talked about to be flirtatious, to really get the attention of the people and also the judges. To not just display your muscularity, but also better your femininity.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a debate, especially in sport of bodybuilding, depending divisions. With divisions like bikini and wellness and even figure and fitness, they do have that more feminine presentation to it. But when you do physique and when it's bodybuilding, you're barefooted, you're doing these strong poses, you're moving around. It's different levels depending on where you see from it.
Right. I do like the physique poses. I'm actually having a lot of fun with physique.
When physique came out, I didn't like it too much. I call it watered down women's bodybuilding. But doing interviews with many of the ladies in that division and hearing their stories, I respect for it. It's very more feminine. You put your hands out here, you do the side pose. I think people like that. Like I said, I've always been a fan of the ladies that the strong muscular. One of my favorite poses, and this is for us guys who already know who it is. It's the most muscular. We go, yeah, baby, you get the big shoulders and you get yoked out. It's just exciting, especially the final pose down was, like that's one of the highlights of women's bodybuilding. I think physique do it, but sometimes y'all girls don't really get their hearts into it as much.
Right. Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah. Shout out to my man K of the Wonder. He says this. He says, Karyn, what's a good choice making or drinking a healthy smoothie?
Protein. Make sure that is your first and biggest ingredient, and then throw some fruit in there. I like to make mine with water. You can use almond milk, coconut milk, something low calorie, and just make it. I would use probably a protein isolate, like a whey protein, or you can use a plant protein. I stick with vanilla because you can mix a lot of different things with vanilla. A lot of guys like to throw peanut butter in there. Just you got to watch out for the fat content. It kind of depends on what you want, but just make sure it has good protein in it.
A shout out to me who hear me and Ryan Lake. He's pop in and says, hello, Karyn. I'm your biggest fan.
Thank you.
And also he says this. He says, Karyn, he said, did you get into shape?
Oh, how did I get into shape? Time and consistency and proper nutrition. It really, like, I've been bodybuilding off and on since I was 18, working out. And you can see some of my before and after pictures, right? Like, just because I was lifting and working out doesn't mean that I was in the greatest shape. So it really boils down to lifestyle and nutrition. I don't drink alcohol, and that's not a popular thing for most people, but
I don't drink.
That's awesome. I haven't drank alcohol since 2019. Don't miss it. It's actually a poison for your body. So I think anybody that wants to reach their goals, if they're serious, that's one thing that maybe they should consider giving up.
Yeah, I had quite a few jobs coming up. My first real job, where my family was sharecroppers, we worked the fields like that. My first real job was a gas station where I worked around beer and liquor. The worst smell was like some of that hard liquor. You bust a bottle like Old English or King Cobra, stink. I never had a taste for it. I know family members and friends have, but not for me. I worked in textiles. One of my jobs, I worked at a nightclub. Well, not a nightclub. You might call it a gentleman's club. Those guys were gentle, But I worked around alcohol. I've seen what it's done to people. I say I never drunk. I've sipped, but never been something that's been a taste of mine. Because I've seen family members and people who get on it. It can affect your mindset. It can take years off your life. It can age you,
Mhm.
but it's a smart decision to do that because it helps you, especially what happened with you in your past with the drunk driver. That was, I
Mhm.
mean, I had a friend of mine. He wasn't a drunk driver. It was somebody who went into the wrong lane, a one lane situation. He's still
Mhm.
dealing with some results of it, but he's doing fine. And we just talked this afternoon. Right now he's at the hospital. Shout out to my man Big Keith. Big Keith Williams. He's IFB pro. I mean, his wife Tina S. Williams. She's also a pro. Shout out to both of them. I hope maybe we get him back on here sometime soon. But especially diet's very important. Like like the right foods. Like for you, especially as a bodybuilder, you're on a prep right now. You're planning on making your return, and
Mhm.
you're on a prep. And, and the kids are home. And they say, "Hey, mom, what's for supper?" And you say, "Well, broccoli and chicken." Say, "Hell no, we're calling in the Uber." You know, you're like especially when they're coming up. What is that like cooking? I know you have some things you have to cook separate from them for yourself.
Mhm. Yeah. They've actually, that's all they know is I've cooked separate. Like I've made my food and I've made their food. Now, as they got a little bit older, honestly, I told my kids, fend for yourself. So they all know how to make their own food, and they do. They also know that mom's food is measured and untouchable. And they've asked me, like, can I have a bite? And I said, no, it's measured. Then I carry my water. And they're always like, can I have a drink? And I'd say, no, it's measured. Like, if you're going to be thirsty, bring your own water. If you're going to be hungry, bring your own food. So they know it's a known thing in this family.
They
But
say,
yeah,
"Mom, you selfish. You don't love us anymore, mommy. Are you mommy's dearest? No wire hangers."
they try that. They know I love them, but they also know how to. Like they all left. My three oldest are out of the house, and they all know how to take care of themselves. So,
Well, that's how, like, my mother, she and my father were together for 55 years, even though he was living in New Jersey and we were still in North Carolina. And she taught us like this. I like this. A woman can teach a boy what he needs to know to do as an adult. You need to learn from a man to be a man. And she taught
mm,
me things in like how to cook for myself, how to wash and clean. I wouldn't mind having a woman, just somebody to roll on and roll off on some nights, but but I know those things because she taught us that.
yes.
And it's appreciative when we learn from our parents how we need to survive out here.
Hmm.
Is important. Because the world is tough out there. Like the best way to say it, to quote my man Rocky Boy, it can beat you down, but it's not hard how you can hit. It's how hard you can take the hit to keep moving forward. How many you take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Shout out to Sylvester Stallone classic Rocky movies. Shout out to my man here, Ryan Lake. He says this. He says, "You are a professional trainer to help clients to get in shape." Well, she said you mostly do wellness stuff, but not competitors.
I don't coach competitors, but I do online coaching for people that want to get healthy and well and get in shape. Yes, I we create a nutrition plan and training plan for everybody.
Have any clients ever been interested in thinking about getting the bodybuilding themselves?
I have one client in particular. She's talked about competing, and I told her she's local to me, so I said, come to my show, and then because she's never been to a show, and so I told her, I said, come to the show, see what it's all about, and then decide if you want to do it. But she could totally do it, and if she wanted to, I could probably coach her. But I like to, once they get to that level, I really like to hand them off to Dee or Kim or Felicia, who do coach competitors with Fit Nation, just because they have more experience and expertise in that. And my experience and expertise is more with the clinical aspect. So like men and women that come to me that have hormone issues, or that like the women that are in perimenopause, menopause, and they're trying to get healthy. That's really more my forte. So that's kind of where I stick. If she wants to compete, then I would probably say, okay, now it's time for you to transition to this coach to get her. Because if they want to compete, I want them to have the most success possible. And I don't know that I can get them there. I can do it, but I don't know that I could translate that into somebody else.
I think it's good that if you're not certain that you can get that person to the next level, somebody who can. It's good
Right.
to do that because There's some people who think they know it alls. Some people get bad coaches. I talked about one time where we had a conversation of where some coaches can get too much into the personal lives of their clients. Things happen. And I think the thing is, if you know someone who has the knowledge and you say, you know what, I don't know everything, but hey, I know somebody who does, it's good to pass that person along because you don't want them to fail in the process. It's smart idea to go to the show and check it out because you want to understand what's involved with it from the front stage or the backstage, the posing, the timing, see what the judges are about. You want to get that. You just want to throw yourself into something like that and not knowing what's involved. And also go back to the finances of it because you need to be prepared because you know what? You have to pay for your coach. You have to pay for your equipment and gear. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. This is a money bag sport. And again, we said earlier, you put it more into, you get out of it.
Well, and knowing that too, I don't want somebody wasting. Not saying that they're wasting their time and money on me, but if I'm not 100% sure, like I want them straight out of the gate to have the most success possible. So I'm going to hand them to somebody that has the track record to give that to them to utilize and make the most efficient time and money for them, like that they're using it well. If anybody that doesn't want to compete, that just wants to get in shape and get healthy, I'm all for that. I can help you do that and coach you in mindset and coach you in all these ways. But specific competitors, I know that's not my skill set. So pass them on.
Yeah, you want to do professional, like that movie, professional. No women, no kids. I don't do women, no kids. So pass them on to somebody else. Yeah. So 2024 was your last time competing. What was the reason why you took this last couple of years off?
So after Masters USA, we went out to eat. And we went to I think it was like a Fogo de Chao or I think it was like a Brazilian steakhouse, but it was late at night. And so we ate at the salad bar and ate, of course, the meat that came out. And I don't know what I ate, but something I ate introduced something into my GI system. Before I finished the meal, I looked 9 months pregnant. My abdomen was bloated and distended and hard, like firm, and I was uncomfortable. And everything I ate just sat at the top of my stomach. It was like it wouldn't digest. And so when I got back to Texas, because we were in California, it was not any better. I mean, I was miserable. And went to my doctor. We did all the blood work, stool samples, CAT scan, everything to try to see what it was. Everything came back normal. And I'm like, but something's not right. So it literally took me like 10 months. And because my GI was not well, nothing I was doing was working. Like my body wouldn't respond. I was still training, still eating my plan, still eating on plan, but my body wouldn't respond. And I'm like, okay. So finally went to a GI doctor. He did an EGD, had significant inflammation in my stomach. He did biopsies, tested for H. pylori. All that, even though all that came back negative, he still treated it like it was H. pylori because my stomach was like bright red. And he prescribed an antibiotic that was $830 with insurance. But I had dealt with that for so long and was so miserable. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get it. Like we bought it, $830, and I took it. But I'll tell you what, because you take it 3 times a day for 21 days. Within the first week, I was fine. Like whatever was in there, it got rid of it. So it was the best $830 I've ever spent. Because then after that, I have been just fine and body's responding to everything and I'm back to functioning optimally. But if your GI is not right, anything you do is not going to really work until your GI gets right.
One of my jobs, I used to work at meat processing factory, Smithfield, the name. And we had a situation happen where, some feces got affected to the meat, shut down everything. pack up all the meat that was coming in, pack up everything else. I worked into the shipping department, and you got to be careful especially with meats and stuff like this. Right now, talk about E. coli and this and
Hmm.
that. I mean, and then you go to this place and say, okay, we want to have a good time and eat. Then you go, oh God, what's this? And I say, your husband say, are you having an alien or are we having a baby? You know,
It was bad. I mean, you think about it, I was the leanest I've ever been. And then my stomach was like out to here. And I was just so uncomfortable, miserable for months. So,
and that sets you back for a good while. And now everything's clear, everything's good. The healthcare, you as a nurse, you understand the healthcare system is crazy. I mean,
mhm.
you shouldn't be paying that much for that medication. See, I get disability, and and I know still I have to pay such a much that I have to pay my doctor bill. Say I can't afford to pay it every month, but I try to do it.
Yeah.
And the cost of just trying to live, it's
Mhm.
just
It's outrageous.
yeah, I went through stuff with my mom because she had a series of seizures, for the past 4 or 5 years, and then she had a stroke. She was diabetic. She was early stage dementia. I've seen so much of it, and and just see it from her point of view, and my own point of view, being I have a pacemaker and stuff like that. It's tough, But I'm
Mhm.
glad you're doing better, and now you're planning on competing. What's the show you can compete at?
Texas Classic, August 15th in Irving.
Oh, yeah, Texas again. And you've been to that show quite a few times.
Yes, I have. It's one of my favorites. It's a great
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Inside the promotion, I think, is Battle Productions promotes that show?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Freddie and Sheila. Shout out to Freddie and Sheila. I'm a big fan. I'm hoping the future, Freddie, Sheila, if you hear me, let's have some win bodybuilding in Texas. Come, I mean, I was going to have a show one year, but then I think something happened with the promoting the sponsorship. I would go to Texas. This is my thing is, I support shows that support women's bodybuilding. That's why I
Mhm.
went to Tampa. That's why I went to shows like Savannah. That's why I'm going to this other show too. I'm thinking about going to Atlanta maybe next year, depending if they have the Masters World Championships here in the States. I'd like to go to that one. I can stay with my niece in Atlanta because it's cheaper.
Mhm.
She lives on the suburbs, but if they can have maybe a show with women's bodybuilding physique and the other divisions there, I would go. This is my thing. I support shows and promoters that support that division because it's the division that got me started in this. But if you don't, I don't watch your shows. I don't support it. No offense to the competitors. I would talk about it on my channel, but nah. I'm just me. I'm just me being a fan.
Yeah.
So now you're going to do Texas, and after that, so you want to get that one more shot at getting your pro card.
Yes. And I'm going to the North Americans in Pittsburgh. So,
Ah, yeah. Well, if you hope for at the end of it, I'll tell you a little secret where I'm going, and you'll find out.
okay.
But you know, that is a very big show. Gary Udit, he just finished up. I think he's still having the Nationals Masters or the Team Collegiate going on right
Mhm.
now. A couple
Mhm.
ladies who I've interviewed, competed there. Some ladies got their pro card.